NASA is once again closing on humanity's return to the moon. After years of preparation, delays, and critical testing, the agency now says its first crewed lunar mission in more than 50 years, Artemis II, could launch as early as March 6th. The mission will send 4 astronauts around the moon and back, paving the way for future landings, including the first woman on the lunar surface. Back in April 2023, NASA introduced a crew of Artemis II, the first astronauts assigned to travel around the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. The 4-member team includes the first woman and the first African American astronaut ever chosen for a lunar mission.
We are going to launch from Kennedy Space Center through the work of the Exploration Ground Systems team. We're going to hear the words, "Go for launch," on top of the most powerful rocket NASA's ever made, the Space Launch System. And we're going to ride that rocket for 8 minutes into Earth orbit. We're not going to go to the moon right away. We're going to stay in an amazing high orbit, reaching a peak of tens of thousands of miles while we test out all the systems on Orion and even see how it maneuvers in space. And then, if everything looks good, we're heading to the moon.
The crew has been featured prominently in NASA promotional events as preparations intensified. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson announced in December 2024 that the mission would slip to 2026, pushing both Artemis II and the Artemis III lunar landing into later dates amid technical challenges and policy shifts.
The SpaceX lander is ready. We plan to launch Artemis III in mid-2027.
The Artemis II crew continued visits and training throughout 2025, while NASA highlighted the mission's flexibility and importance in testing the Orion spacecraft.
Victor, Christina, Jeremy, we're going to the moon.
By January 2026, the mission inched closer to flight. NASA rolled out its massive Space Launch System rocket for final test at Kennedy Space Center.
Taking the crew around the moon, this is going to be our first step toward a sustained lunar presence.
But early February brought fueling issues that forced NASA to push back the launch to March. A second wet rest rehearsal on February 19th resolved earlier hydrogen leaks.
I think it's clear based on what we saw in real time, we're now targeting no earlier than March for Artemis II launch.
Following that successful wet dress yesterday, we're now targeting March 6th as our earliest launch attempt.
Artemis follows in the footsteps of the Apollo program, which first delivered humans to the lunar surface in 1969. 6 Apollo missions successfully reached the moon between 1969 and 1972, overcoming challenges that included lightning strikes and catastrophic system failures like the explosion that crippled Apollo 13 but still returned its crew safely to Earth. From lunar rovers to landings in unexplored highlands, Apollo set the foundation for Artemis. NASA is also preparing new technology for the upcoming lunar era. In 2023, the agency unveiled a next-generation spacesuit designed by Axiom Space for Artemis III.